needs no introduction. I'm going to do it anyway. Chris Packham is here. You want to get under the skin of MPs today?
Well, we do. We've got a very important message to convey to them when it comes to climate breakdown. And I think, as your news has been shown, it's come home to roost, certainly here in Europe. Madrid's under an extreme weather warning at the moment. We've seen flooding in Las Vegas, a desert city. And obviously, you wouldn't want to be at the Burning Man festival at the moment. So what all of the advice says is that we've got to leave fossil fuels in the ground. And I'm keen to listen to the advice from the source of that advice. So I've helped to assemble, I hope, as many as 100 scientists to gather at midday on Parliament Square, and we've issued an offer to all of our elected representatives to come out and have a chat about the truth behind climate breakdown and what we really should be doing at that point. And our mission really today is get the message across is that no new oil, a transition away from our dependence on fossil fuels into renewables as quickly as possible.
This government would say, hold your horses. No one's doing as much as us. We are leading the charge when it comes to being neutral.
Well, the government would say that, but their climate change committee, chaired by Lord Deben, doesn't say that at all. He has led a ruthless investigation into their targets and their mission at the moment, and it's very clear they're not doing enough. He says they lack leadership and they lack will and they lack direction in terms of those policies. And I think when you look at that and scrutinise it, it stands up. And certainly at this point, when the UN and all of the scientists have said that we should be leaving fossil fuels in the ground, the Secretary-General of the UN has called further extraction economic and moral madness. To issue 100 new licences for potential oil and gas at some stage in the future and commission a coal mine is not what we need to do if we're going to meet any of our agreements, any of our targets, both domestically and, of course, globally.
Now, to that end, do you support direct action by people like Just Stop Oil? They've lost support of the public.
Well, I support people who are standing up and telling the truth, so long as no one is harmed and it's peaceful, direct action. Just Stop Oil have been trying to keep this in the media domain so that people like myself have the opportunity to talk about what we're talking about now. And we are talking about Just Stop Oil. So I could say to you that whether they're aggravating the general public or not, they've given us a platform to talk about the fact that we don't need any more oil. We need to instigate this rapid transition to renewables as rapidly as possible. Even if we do commission new oil now, it will take 28 years to come online. There's no guarantee that that will offer any energy security to the UK whatsoever, because once those licences are granted, the oil there belongs to the companies. They can sell it to whoever they want to. They don't have to sell it to us. When it comes to very large oil fields like Rosebank, that's owned by Equinor, and if they get permission to drill it, the money will be essentially going to Norway. We'll make some tax revenue from it. This is not about energy security. If we want energy security, we need to invest in those renewables. They're providing cheaper energy than oil and gas at the moment, and that's where we need to go. And even those people who are working in the oil and gas sector when it comes to North Sea exploration and exploitation are asking for a way out. They understand that the transition needs to be done. And it's time for us to invest in those communities and invest in new jobs, not bad business and bad old jobs as we've had for so long.
So what do you want it to look like? What, more wind farms, onshore wind farms? Of course, he's looking at that.
Well, we do need more onshore wind farms. Offshore wind farms produce energy 9 times cheaper than gas. There's no doubt about that. But it's horses for courses. We know that. When we are making this transition, our landscape is going to change. Now, where we allow it to change, I mean, obviously, I have concerns about where we site wind farms, both offshore and onshore, because I have a passion for birds. Migratory birds can have problems with wind farms. We've learned a lot of lessons there. Solar is also become a lot more affordable. It's very rapid to implement that technology. I mean, the roof of this building and every other building in London could be covered with solar panels. And there are lots of places where we could put these where they're not going to cause any environmental or ecological damage. But that's one thing is for sure, there's no point in worrying about where we put them if we've got no reason left to put them there because the world is in climate breakdown. And we're beginning to see that, as you know. This year, temperature records are being broken all over the world, less ice than ever before. What the scientists are saying, and what they'll be telling our elected representatives this lunchtime, is that all of these things have come on a lot more quickly than their climate modelling would suggest. We're in deep, deep trouble, and now is the time to act.
And what's your demonstration going to look like? Are you going to get up to some mischief?
No mischief today at all, no. The scientists will be clearly wearing white lab coats so that we can see who the scientists are. We'll have a photo call with a No New Oil banner, but this is unrepresentative. This is just me and a bunch of scientists saying, look, these are the people with their fingers on the pulse of this issue. Please come and talk to them. And we're hoping that MPs will see this as an opportunity to show that they do mean business. And of course, we have a new Energy Secretary, Claire Coutinho, essentially pretty much first day in the job. Wouldn't it be great if she came out to do a photo call with the scientists? Because she has, not shown any signs so far that she's against the government's net zero plans. But we've got to stay on target with these things. We're 1.2 degrees centigrade over pre-industrial levels now. And there's only a 5% chance left that we're going to keep it to 1.5. And most of the scientists are saying it could be 2 degrees higher by 2050 and more than 3 by the end of the century. That's deep, deep trouble, Kay. We've really got to take some action. So this is an opportunity for a peaceful conversation between the scientists and our elected representatives, and I sincerely hope they take it.
OK, it's great to see you as always. Thanks very much indeed.